Hey, Natasha, good to see you again. Here's a question that comes from our audience members about gut health as well as spike proteins and the critical connection. Spike proteins, Natasha, and I know you know, but our listeners, spike proteins, they've been around, but they really haven't been discussed until recently with COVID-19 and other vaccines being discussed. There are a few important factors to consider what spike proteins do to the body. Immune system, gut microbiome, also with the immune system, gut barrier, moods, health-wise, leading to other infections in the body. The list goes on, and I don't want to always come back to probiotics and what it does to the gut and what it helps with. We've spoken about yeast, mold, inflammation, and again, turning into a domino effect into something as serious as cancer. But can you talk about spike proteins? And I know you kind of don't really want to say, yes, here's the problem and we can fix it for your business owner. So I can talk more about it on my end, but share, because I work with a lot of patients. I work with a lot of doctors, and every time I have this conversation with them and they talk about the spike proteins and what it's doing with, I'll say, long haul issues after the recent vaccine, I recommend a protocol. Really, it's not even a protocol, but I recommend some of the products that you carry, and the results are incredible. And so, if you want to share that with the audience, I was happy that this topic was brought up because we have been tippy-toeing around the topic of COVID and spike proteins for a while. So, thank you for submitting this question. But please have at it.
Yeah. So, basically the spike protein is something that is found both in the COVID vaccine and in the COVID, the viral infection. And so research has found some of it being held up, I don't know why, from being published, even after it's been accepted for publication, that shows us that the spike protein literally chews up the bifidobacteria in our large intestine. And remember, the colon is part of our large intestine. And, there's a lot of our immune cells that line that intestinal wall. And recently I've even heard that there's missing lactobacilli in the large intestine. But if you can imagine, a majority of your lactobacilli are found in your small intestine. And if they're also disappearing, it's having a tremendous effect, negative effect on our entire immune system. So just a few facts to remind you. 70 to 80% of all of our immune cells line the intestinal wall. They sort of sit there nicely on the intestinal wall, and the bacteria that are flowing through our intestines every second of the day have an intimate relationship and communication going on with those immune cells. So if the spike protein eliminates the beneficial bacteria, which we have very good evidence that it does, then only the neutral or the bad bacteria are communicating with the immune cells on the intestinal wall. If you can think, give you very simple comparison, there are gates on your intestinal wall. They're called tight junctures. And those gates are protected by the beneficial bacteria because the beneficial bacteria have a vested stake in keeping you, the human being, healthy because they love to thrive in our environments. So it's a sort of a selfish protection. But if they're gone, then these other bacteria or yeasts or viruses can communicate and try to fool the immune cells so they can break into those tight junctures and get into your bloodstream, which, as you know, will have a much more dire effect and compromise our immune ability to protect us from other disease. So I've given you a very simple explanation of a very complex process. And so the fact that, we are all experiencing this, and not only that, there was a grant given to the University of Riverside, University of California, I beg your pardon, at Riverside, to study how they can incorporate spike proteins into our greens, such as spinach and lettuce. So there's an attempt to make sure that we're getting these spike proteins for whatever reasons in our food supply is even more, concerning to me, because we're not doing anything to help replenish these essential bacteria. And I do call them essential because not only do they regulate almost every function in the body, including absorption, production of new cellular structure, because remember, every minute we lose 10 million cells. So those 10 million cells have to be replaced by healthy proteins. And also immune system has to be primed so that it doesn't reject normal things to come through the intestinal wall. So we've created quite a large and complicated problem by eliminating the bacteria that are essential for the function of an optimal immune system and the daily rebuilding of our body. And there's very few effective ways to get these bacteria back in. And you cannot get in bacteria that I'm not talking about because there is an array of beneficial bacteria. So what I've come to know through my studies is that you need the healthy trinity, at least, 1 capsule twice a day or 2 capsules twice a day. You need to go on a low carb diet. You need to eliminate alcohol and many of the ultra processed foods that we indulge in. You need to take another product that we make called Life Start 2 and take 2 of those capsules 3 times a day. And if you're fully compromised, then you might want to contact our professional division called Natren, where we have medical strength bifidobacteria to help you deal with the bacteria that you've lost in your large intestine. And we're the only company in the world that actually separates these essential bacteria that evolved with Homo sapiens and are made in a delivery system that they actually survive packaging, storage, shipping, stomach acid, bile to actually do you any good. And these factors are extremely important now. We cannot be fooled by marketing or sales gimmicks. We've gotten to a situation where we now have a compromised immune system. So we all have to pay attention. And this is not about marketing. This is not about sales. This is about creating the right, completely safe probiotic bacteria that will help us restore them to the right places in our GI tract so we can make some corrective measures when we are compromised by the spike proteins.
What the protocol you shared is what I've shared with friends and family that are going through this. I have them up at, and I know on your label it says take 1 or 2. I have them do, and I know just from our conversations and even my intake of the nature probiotics on a daily basis, I do 3-3-3, 4-4-4 sometimes if my body's off, or just 2-2-2. It's okay. Can you share that it is okay for that? What I've shared with a recent friend going through this was 3 capsules of Life Start 2 and 3 capsules of Healthy Trinity twice a day. And it was a little off of what you just, am I recommending the
John, the beauty of our product is that every bacteria I have chosen evolved with Homo sapiens.
Okay.
You can take a whole bottle of our product and never be harmed. It's not a drug. It is something that is an intrinsic part of our health in our body.
Yeah.
And so the only reason we give you these, regimens is to ensure economic efficiency, because most people want to take the least amount that's effective for, I guess, economic reasons. And I understand. But if you feel like you can take more to get better results, absolutely. You can take as much as you want. You can increase the amounts, and your body does talk to you. You will know when your body says, okay, I think this is the right regimen for me. I'm feeling much better. I feel much more energetic. I'm not getting any more flus. I'm not getting the sniffles. Then you know that you have primed your immune system and all of your right beneficial bacteria are there at the correct numbers to help your body deal with the challenges that, frankly, we're faced on a daily basis.
Yeah. So in closing for our audience, if you or your loved one has been affected by any spike proteins, This is something that I have personally recommended to friends and family and seen success. And as I was mentioning, is with the Life Start 2, as with the Healthy Trinity. Your protocol could be 3 capsules of the Healthy Trinity, 3 capsules of the Life Start 2. Natasha, you said 2 twice a day. I was recommending some friends 3 twice a day of the Healthy Trinity. And so for our audience here, your audience here, you can use the 25% off code WELCOME25, WELCOME25. We'll give you 25% off to try these. And if you have any questions, you can call Natasha's office at Natren Probiotics at 1-866-4 NATREN. You can ask for Susan or Carolyn. Susan's extension, I believe, is 2131, and Carolyn's is 2161. Both are wealth of information. Both have been here close to 3 decades, working with Natasha and her company and family for that long, and a wealth of information. Do you have any closing before we go on?
I want to assure you, your body is a magnificent, divine machine. It is designed to heal itself. We need to know how to treat it. We need to know how to support it with absolutely safe food and beneficial bacteria, and give it the chance to heal itself. And of course, your perception of reality is also important. So I love John because he always looks at life with the glass half full, and we should all adopt those kind of feelings and looking at the world in that way.
Thank you. What a compliment. And thank you, Natasha, for all that you do. And thank you for submitting your question. And I apologize, I don't have your name, but who submitted the question about gut health, spike proteins, the critical connection. And we'll see you in our next week's show. Have a blessed day, Natasha. And to our audience, stay healthy. Yeah. And we'll see you soon.
And ask your questions. We're here to answer your questions.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.